Okay, that's even for this time. Let's go ahead and full screen. Maybe that'll be. I notice sometimes I got like this up, the sidebar covering for extended periods of time, or like some small thing on the screen I could easily click and make it larger, but I don't. Besides the point, I wanted to kind of start looking at this again. Let's see. Okay, it's not too late, I guess, relatively speaking. Uh, so to, I guess, catch up to maybe do a little intro. This to me is a photon. As I've discussed, I was just watching the When the Levee Breaks episode because I'm like, why is this one getting so many views? Like, what's this one about? I want to see what it's about. So I started watching. I'm like, oh, it's about the photon. Yes, like cool. And I'm watching it like, oh, this one's good. I'm so happy of it so far. I didn't finish. So happy with it. Like however many minutes, like 20 minutes in. And then I started to see some things. I was like, I can't not hit record right now. And I just saw something else as a result. So that's really what I need to intro a little bit though. Okay, so ancient Dwarka was attacked by a vortex weapon that allowed ether through the crust of the earth. It penetrated the mantle, which then outflowed under the crust of the earth in all directions. Looks like actually in more specifically in four directions. I just realized. Like maybe also eight directions, but it really looks like four directions. More like north, south, east, west kind of thing, maybe. But besides the point, cool, nice to notice. But this flows throughout everywhere, and one of the things it does is it causes a current to flow this way out of this just straight under Florida here, under Mexico, out of this region, which then is hitting Australia here. Which is here. I think that might. I'm not sure that's the side. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Here's Australia again. So we see it again. Here's this corner. Pardon the maybe a little excitement. Maybe that's good though. I'm excited. So this comes in hot, right on through there. But we see it here coming in hot, hitting the resistance of Australia and bending around it so it leaves in a shape of Australia. So we can see Australia here. So that's that corner. And then there's another attachment, I believe, over like here, which is so like that corner that that was coming in real sharp, I believe was right here. Attached here, and then between it is another one, which is then this one. So those three are attached. It looks like that might have a tab. Are attached over here. I think that's right. I'm not completely certain, but just like that's. I mean, there's maybe something I'm missing, which is always the case. But this comes out here and it goes, this isn't there yet, but it goes here. So it's coming into Australia here in this region. So I guess it was all the way here, which is why it wasn't such a far gap over to this opening. Because it was all the way probably from here to here. Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, that stretch. That whole stretch is just cutting across, which we can see it doing right here and then leaving. So that whole stretch is right there, and then we see this. That's probably around here. I might be rushing and not actually pinpointing, but it probably has a correlation maybe up there. But then it deflects along the coast, so this is none of this is there yet. So like North America is like right there. It deflects along the coast. North America is right there. It's deflecting along the coast. Here's Australia, which then causes this current to go this way, and this current to go under it, under Australia. And this is not opened yet. So this is not opened yet. This is opening, and opening in the Earth's crust is occurring. That is just letting mantle just kind of boil out, I guess, in like... So I think here is relatively calm. It's full of novas, but it doesn't have a current through it. Whereas the current is out here. So I think it's full of novas, but it doesn't have a current. So the novas kind of create just like a boundary, but they don't really influence the surroundings very substantially. Like here they do a little bit into there and up into there, but really they're not like over here noticeable in any way influencing, whereas the currents are just like everywhere, flowing everywhere as one current pretty much. So here it just forms like a boundary, which then the current cutting across here, so here from the ridge across this way, a current cuts this way down through here, and then Mariana Trench, when it hits that boundary that's being formed around the current where all the novas are occurring, so that's kind of where I was. Also, I believe up here we see an imprint of a sort of Mariana Trench looking thing, and also maybe there. Looks like maybe. But I'm thinking that comes from a current here. So before... Oh, maybe it just is this current and not related to this current. Maybe it's just two separate currents. This current cutting across. So there's a current coming through here that cuts through the nucleus of Africa. It goes around as well, but it cuts through the nucleus, and then it goes this way, up through here, just straight through Dwarka pretty much, across, and flows out this way, and then I guess it spreads out and is influencing here, because it looks like when it hits the resistance... Oh, actually, it's hitting the current. It's hitting the current. So the current, I guess, is kind of causing... We can see a little nova there, even almost like at that X, where the currents like collide or something. Little nova there. Maybe that's indicative of something. I don't want to say anything, but hey, there's maybe even a pentagon-ish looking thing around it. Interesting. But this seems to then, the collision makes it kind of change into that, I guess, into this shape. Let's look at this. Does that make sense for this here? That looks like a sea of a bunch of just little novas going off. Is that where this is? X marks the spot. Is that X marks the spot? I already named another video X marks the spot. Well, maybe not spot, but pardon me as I do the thing where I play like a character for you to kind of be entertaining. Some people may not like it, even though I enjoy it myself. Maybe people do enjoy it, and people don't like it, don't enjoy that people like it, and it just creates this whole thing. This is well, maybe it does in some way. I create that there. I was kind of thinking that I had this understood before I started this video. That like something. Oh yeah, was I in the past? Thought the currents, they really don't make sense though. They go this way. I thought the currents like went up this way maybe, but it like previously maybe here. Oh wait, am I seeing it? Am I seeing things here? No, that's not it. That is interesting though. There is a current that seems to cut right through here. I don't see it. It might just be the image. I'm getting distracted again. Let's go back. This was going to Mariana Trench and colliding here. So essentially, then let's just go to this system. I'm pretty confident. No, everything I say is definitely suspect, obviously, and I would appreciate being critically analyzed. I'm pretty confident though that this it's interesting. There's little mounds. I wonder what like even that one. I wonder if there's a phi ratio aspect to this, especially with that one. Like pardon that, whatever that was. Goes up here though. This one I really like. This one that goes up here. It seems to maybe that. I don't know. Maybe. But that doesn't really make sense. It seems more like this. Maybe like through there. I just wonder how many of these are like this has gotta represent some fundamental things that if I even just look at it and speak about it more, I feel like people just hearing me talk about it will just be like able to realize some things that they've been working on, hopefully, and just like boom, new technology. Although again, maybe I'm gonna freaking create chaos. So remember that too. You know, we're playing with fire here. Or I am, and you are, and we are, and you are I, and we are we. So I think though, what really made me start to play this was I've noticed this, like it spirals. So they kind of like gravitate around one another, and like there's two simultaneous streams, and maybe here. Never mind. I was gonna say maybe there's like a nucleus spawning off in between them at certain points, which is possible, but I wasn't sure the point I was looking at was necessarily representative of it. But they spiral down, they bounce off this resistance, I guess. So they probably are not related to this spiraling. I think Fiji, if we look at Fiji, it for sure is like this region. So here's Fiji. This region is like because of the current. So here's a current, it's coming this way, and then it gets into Australia. Here's a current maybe coming this way or this way. Well, for sure they're getting into the nucleus, which is here. Just carving paths to it, although I'm not sure what this is about. Maybe just from when it novaed, it had some. That doesn't really make sense either, but I'm not sure. But so, like, while it was the process of it novaing was in the process before it actually occurred, it was essentially just exciting the nucleus of Australia until it began to cause a current around it and through it and just carve it. I wonder if it has like an X through it, even like a more than just like a. It really doesn't have. Or maybe it's here. Oh, it's probably here. This is like a side. This I'm looking at like it's the nucleus. This was probably the nucleus. This is probably a side system that was the new nucleus that became the new nucleus. This is the new nucleus. Which maybe it formed. Maybe that's what this was. This whole process was the nucleus just transforming. So maybe we see it having a stable core and we don't see the cross sections, even though maybe this is a cross section, maybe this is a cross section, so maybe it's more like there. I mean, it does look like it could have been right there and just moved physically to the side. Like they cut this across. So right here it cut it. Here's a part of its mound, and that mound's just over there, while this one became the new nucleus. By, I guess, just currents, like, once it became, once it formed as the new nucleus, or, like, it separated, I guess, it was the one more central to the central to the body, so it was the most stable one to form around. So this one probably just decayed to whatever. It's hard to say because the map is definitely not precisely as it is. It's a little just where they overlap across different segments. So that right there is a little hard to tell what's happening, but for sure we can see there was a nucleus here. There is a nucleus here. And so this segment, and we can even see where there was a nucleus here. See, it still has the missing chunk of the nucleus. Cool. So now there's a nucleus here. So let's just think it through a bit, I guess. This chunk was kind of hanging out here. It's kind of pentagony. And maybe, so the currents are still flowing, maybe still this way, in this way, in this way. And because it novaed, I guess it pushed a mound over here so that this current pushed it into the nucleus to just make a wall, while this current just went through the region somewhat to keep some protective space between the nucleus and the wall. And then this current, which was going here to this nucleus, probably wasn't even flowing anymore, honestly. Not like that. Not once this happened. This was tied to when the gaping hole opened. When the particle transformed, I guess. Crazy. So let's see, if this was here. Oh yeah, here, the nucleus. Can we see its magnetic field? It looks maybe like this. Oh yeah, we can see its magnetic field. Oh, that's so cool. So it's like right there, I guess. Yeah, there's the nucleus. There's the nucleus right there. It's kind of missing a chunk, but based on this circle or oval, the center of the oval is like right where this is. So this mound is probably still like the core of the previous nucleus, I guess. So it's still around pretty good. I was thinking it was just kind of a little bit here, but it's probably a substantial chunk there. This is where the previous core exactly was, and that's where this figure 8 waited. How just fitting, really. Fitting. This figure 8, which had the flow field around it, I guess there. Oh yeah, down there. Or there. I forgot what I was saying though. So I'll just assume I was saying it supernovaed or novaed and became this. But over here, okay, let's keep looking. We got some more things. This clearing things up. We see this right here. This right here, maybe? I don't know. I mean, it looks like a flow coming out this way and then spreading out as part of it. I don't know what to make of it. Just observing it, I guess. If anyone has anything, feel free to do everything. Oh, God. What else can I add to this before going back to here? I guess I gotta look at this a bit. The current comes in here. I guess it comes across and in. Oh. What is up with this? Oh, it's not coming in here. It's not quite coming in here, maybe a little bit, but I guess it's more so. Or maybe this portion, like this chunk, is coming. I guess it is flowing in there. It's just flowing in. This is flowing in. This segment over here. This is hitting a wall. Okay, there we go. This flow is hitting a wall. And trying to carve around. So I guess Australia. Fine. Alright, fine. Pardon me. I know I'm a fucking terrible person in some ways. This way. People are like, what? Just cross dimensions here, don't mind me. Oh, lordy lord. Where is this thing? Right here? This right here is probably, I don't know why, I'm just gonna guess right there. Because it seems to be drilling down, or no, wait, no. That was silly, wasn't it? Was that silly? Was that silly? No, that was good. That was good. That was good. We good. We Gucci. We Gucci, right? We good. Let's see. Let's get. It's always a little confusing. I know. I'm sorry if this is like, what is this dude looking at, kind of thing. Okay, for sure. Then, for sure, this was up here, and then like this was along here. So that makes sense. So this was cutting along here, but more visibly detectable, I guess. Over this way, here. Like this is where the flows are visible. It's even probably because like here we see the spreading, like this is like an imprint of this segment here, I believe, if I remember right. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Yeah, because here's like the corner of Australia, and then it's like really wide here, and then it quickly gets narrower. Corner of Australia, really wide, and then quickly gets narrower. So, this is going... Oh, so this is going here. So where is Australia? Or... Where is this? I guess never mind to that idea. Darn. Darn. 28 minutes. I don't know. Sometimes it seems appropriate probably to, even though I was going to talk about one thing, to basically like be like, oh, here was something cool and make it about that thing instead. Like the nucleus of Australia. Like to miss that it's about that, I mean. But also, I guess I'll just keep looking at it. Let's just keep looking at it so that I can keep going and keep making it about that. Okay, so this flow, I guess, is just hitting resistance. That's right, I was looking here at what is this wall then? Is this there when oceanic crustal age, when all these other things were there? There might be a little discrepancy in the crustal age here. Significantly newer. Okay. So that was after supernova. This crust over here is post-supernova. And it almost formed a new continent, but I guess it just punctured through it somehow. And it became Zealandia. New crust. Okay, let's go more up here though. I guess as it's spreading, it's probably just making the current, like the current must be coming from down here that as it spreads, so then it's just coming from a further distance. Yeah, yeah. As it's spreading, it's just moving down here. So the current initially is coming from here. That's probably a good way to approach this. Okay, good. So as it's spreading, let's say Australia initially was like there. So the currents were flowing like probably here and then maybe through there or carving a way through there where essentially these ways always at some point like as long as they bend to there then these ways always but but from here it goes there there but then it starts coming out here. So as it's spreading, okay, as it's spreading, this current that's flowing up this way into Australia is piling up at Australia, causing a blockage for the current, which then, instead of feeding into this pile further, is caused to flow up into the vortex here. Because I guess this is just actively happening post Australia moving away for a period where while the currents are still flowing, this is still flowing, which kind of makes sense. Like this is didn't just stop, freeze. Everything else is flowing. This is just hanging out. So while the currents are still flowing, this is still flowing. So the spreading's occurring, current still flowing. It's flowing in. So instead, as the currents flow, as it spreads, the currents are being redirected, I guess, by this blockage. Because initially they were probably more able to just flow over here, just flow straight. La la la, la la la. But then this blockage built up, and they're like, oh, damn. Damn. Physics. Pardon me as I do things. Okay. And then the blockage built up, and then the current at some point actually made it past the blockage and was going maybe over here, and maybe basin. Maybe that's why there's stuff here. If these are new, is this new stuff? Yeah, New Zealand. I don't think New Zealand's like new continental. New Zealand, although it's new. So maybe geology age. Oh, sure, whatever. Okay, at least 500 million years, so no. Although islands forming New Zealand developed as part of a broader continental shield. Okay. Oldest rocks, but then the youngest rocks the youngest are probably really young. Here we go. Let's see. Broke away. Mostly age I'm looking for here. Basement rocks. Ew. So that's pretty much what's flowing is basement rock, or basement is what the sediment what may be just a sheet of oceanic crust, maybe, I don't know, is flowing, at times being metamorphosized into whatever, because that's how it goes. high enough energy like at the Himalayas. In geology, basement and crystalline basement are crystalline rocks lying above the mantle and beneath all other rocks and sediments. Sometimes exposed at the surface, but often they're buried under miles of rock. Okay. From mid-Cambrian, so like 500 million, which is post the beginning. So this is formed after the attack on Dwarka began. After all this process began, this is a new island formed. Okay. So part of its material includes material that was being accreted here from the beginning, which makes sense. But I guess the currents here, like there being that just continental land, that backdrop for the pressure of the currents to flow into was enough to cause uplift here by the currents like intersecting the pushing into this landmass, currents coming up, deflecting around this, whatever that is. This, was that? I don't know. Is that visible here, whatever I just looked at? That little hook? Like, I don't see anything that... Maybe there. Like maybe it's deflecting there. Yeah, this curvature. Oh. Oh, these are like legit curves. These are like legit curves of the earth then. Oh, I can kind of see it then. Now, like there. I can kind of see it then. Unless this is a Truman Show again. Always that going on. Okay. So that for sure, though, is this... Whatever this is causing this current that was flowing from here, which must have been somewhere here, one of these exit points here. Probably not this one, but like maybe this one down here somewhere. Somewhere down here. I'm just being a little lazy about it. I guess it was here. Maybe it's because I'm so zoomed in. I don't... Or the angle, I don't feel like I can quite look at it. Oh, that's why, because I'm totally in the wrong place. Here we go. I was thinking this one was this one. Now it makes more sense. It was probably this one. It was draining out of this one to here. Which was causing this section, I guess. I don't... Oh no, here. Here. This is after expansion because this is the imprint it left behind. Okay, so the imprint it left behind also left a ramp. Is there, like, right here at the imprint? So, like, the big part narrowing down. Does this approach some kind of, like, corner, like, some chunk to take off, like, there? Like, maybe a piece off of here? Hard, like, right there. I don't know. Just a little bit of something, something. Like, it does kind of look like Australia there. So that left behind, I I guess this is immediate. Like this is maybe immediately like the immediate current. That actually makes sense. The initial current was like really red. Like this is high current probably here. So it's pushing and moving it this way from like a here from this one wait, oh, here, which reminds me, why would it be carving so deeply, one might ask? Why, to have such a stream, that is quite the stream to be like, wow, fanning out like that. Well, let me explain. It does seem to be the stream that's hugging Africa and ramping like this way. And then coming through here, like through the tab, maybe through there, like right, like a thread, just a little tiny thread, huge current. Fans out from that thread. It just starts pushing on Australia and drilling into the edge here and pushing it physically. So it's really probably like right down here initially, like right there. And then it just starts pushing it away, fanning it out until it really meets resistance, like here. Then it starts to meet more and more resistance, more and more resistance, more and more resistance until it jumps ahead and supernovas, decaying so that the currents can no longer meet resistance, and it just, the supernova, by essentially, because it's also experiencing a current here from this side. If we look at Australia, the directions of the currents are from this side, and then that one is from this side. But at that point, it effectively, the currents moved it this way, out of this position over here, just right on over, plopped it in position. So let's revisit that a little bit. Let's go back here. It does look like this is like the initial current, then it starts getting through. So essentially maybe it gets through, puts a little layer. Although, so I guess the current that's like imprinted on the ground isn't necessarily. Yeah, I guess this probably wasn't. Let's see. Let's look at this. This is what I'm concerned about by speaking the words I was just saying. The current coming in here is probably this blue one, I guess. Is it and then fanning out that way? Yeah. Yeah, dude. So it comes in here a little trickle, but it's really being fed from right there. This current is flowing off of here, ramping around, flowing up this way. How do I turn this better? Okay. Maybe. There we go. Maybe. Okay. So I guess it's just like making space though through here. A current is flowing this way. It's starting to flow this way, and as it's flowing, it's doing the thing where a new inner tube enters the current and creates layers outward of alternating high and low density materials as it widens. In some fashion, I might be a little off in that statement. I was just kind of feel like that kind of makes sense. Wait, here, so I guess maybe there is, this current just flows out right there. Flows out there. Huh. Okay, so back to here. It does look like Australia's here for sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, yeah. Okay, it's here. It's over this way, I guess. And then maybe. Like the spreading just makes this so far away, but this I guess was where the edge of Australia was generally. And it's just maybe easier to look at the imprints. So I guess here, this really looks to be like a spray point. Like if you take a hose and you just with like a needle type of spray, and you just spray it against the surface and it just splatters everywhere. Like this looks like a needle spreading, or a needle nose spray just beaming into this, just beaming in like a beam. It's a beam, I guess. It looks like a beam carving in. It's a current. Maybe it is like electrical in some way. I'm thinking more a current of oceanic crust that just with such a velocity that it behaves electrically, but maybe it's not oceanic crust, maybe it's some other material, maybe it is ether, but I think it's oceanic crust, and it just is like a base. It's the mantle. The mantle is the base. It's like a base material. You can make whatever you want out of it. It's like a whatever, seed, not embryo, cell, those things. Stem cell, that's the one. The stem cell. Membrane or mantle is like stem cell material that can make any material depending on where it goes and the right pressure, and it's like, wow, that might be revealing, huh? This makes cells of the right body type based on like the body's like anticipated pressure and temperature and just environment, its surrounding environment. I guess just stem cells might be able to just do that in someone's. Maybe there's there's something to that. Sad truth though. If it is, it's gotta be a better way than harvesting cells. Although I guess if it's donated knowingly. Anyway, besides the point. For a tangent to some whatever that was. So I guess it's pushing Australia this way. The current's just able to fan out more and more. Maybe. here. I don't know. I guess yeah, it must just be coming in as a beam, just pushing into Australia. Just pushing on in. It's probably even like opening the crust pretty good. Probably like separating the whole Central America here away, detaching it entirely from South America, although it seems like the flow is coming in. So I guess it detaches it entirely from North America. Central America gets detached. But then the current's flowing through. I just don't know why Australia seems to be fanning out so much, or where it would be. Maybe it would be good for me to look at it. Expanding Earth maps. What was I trying to think about? These are still attached. Like, that's a huge opening. Okay. Oh. Am I mistaken on where that current's coming from? I don't think so, though. Wait. No, no, no. That's late on. That's late. That's late. We gotta get to here. Okay, that current's coming around. This is certainly suspect. No offense to him, just because it's so complex, like the islands and stuff, all this stuff. It's certainly not exact, but I guess the current. Okay, this is kind of revealing, though. It shows that the current that was opening the hole, the gaping, the one that was really causing this gapingness to this all, which I guess was here. Where's the eye? Where's the eye? Here's the eye. This current. I feel like this one here, flowing this way, which was also around here, but really here. When it was flowing here, it was along North America, so really just this current. And then it was going this way, and then down here. So that's what that is that current. It's so hard to find good expanding Earth maps, guys. I gotta watch videos and like hope to catch it at the right moment while they rotate it and close it. Like, they don't show both sides. It would be nice enough to have like this half and the other half simultaneously, maybe even three, to really show like different angles, but not really missing any parts at once. Or even four, to get all like four angles, just to get all four angles. That seems to make sense. That would be good. I don't have the actual models of the things to do it myself, to do any of that kind of stuff. I have the models, but not this thing. Like the I can do a lot, but I don't feel like learning that. It's kind of interesting. It looks like an eye right there. Looks like it's looking like an eye there. I don't know if whatever that was. If I think that was the Himalayas, I might be mistaken. Oh, here we go. So the current is coming through this way. Even though, okay, so even though it's opening up, okay, even though it's opening up, I thought they stayed attached, like they were just attached. and when they detached was like a major event, but they didn't stay attached. They just started opening up. But the thing is that current just kept going until it just hit the same spot. Didn't matter. And it started to fan out in both directions here around Australia. And we're gonna miss a little bit, but that's okay. And it connected back through to here and then through the Red Sea. The current then probably went down here for some reason. Why did it do that? Also, like it seems like the current from this way might have just went into Africa here and went down. Maybe just to expel is just finding new, like because that was protected through the process by the nucleus. The nucleus is here protecting this region. This region's like, I'm hanging out, I'm fine. There's no problems here. The current's like, you ain't getting missed, brah, comes in here. Maybe to just because that's what happens. It fills everywhere. It fills underneath the entire surface before then ding, it starts to expand. Like substantial expansion, the rapid expansion phase. But it's actually pushing the continents. The pressure is still pushing into them. So I guess as it's pushing them, it is causing its nucleus to radioactively decay in the process and leave behind a trail of the process occurring. Although this is really not showing the opening up between all Antarctica and Australia nearly soon enough, I feel like. I guess it should be way open by that point where I just saw it. Like there, that should be set. That should just be more there. Like, just I don't know. I guess so. That's in the way. I don't know. Pardon me if I was wrong about that statement, judging it. I don't mean to. This is probably better. Nice. Okay. Let's get back to when they bounce. Okay, that's interesting how that formed with the two. And that's interesting there. Whether or not that's really representative, unclear, but maybe. Okay, so the current is mostly deflecting that way, and a little bit's going down here. But what is going down here is drilling it in. The reason it's a little bit is because it's actually entering into South America, where there's not a flow in. Or just the flow from North America also maybe is flowing. So, but it's essentially got space to flow, so it doesn't really like pressure this open probably. And then it starts a pressured open, but I guess the flowing over here has not yet separated these two because Africa's just got more room to fill. And it probably needs the current coming from the other way to fill the other side. And then it starts to separate, and for some reason he shows these separating very late. I guess maybe they were very late. Like, is this the last step? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know, but that's good. Thanks, guys.